Welcome to this DaVinci Resolve Fusion node breakdown. Today's node is the Alembic Mesh 3D node. So before we jump into Fusion, we're going to start off in Blender here. And I'm going to be using this quick little model with animation I made. Literally took a minute to make. And we're going to use this for our little node breakdown within Fusion. But this kind of brings me to a point. Fusion is great when it comes to 3D and everything, and especially when it comes to merging and mixing your 3D in with your actual live footage and stuff like that. It's great, but it's not as good, not necessarily not as good. It's not as easy and quick to use as, say, Blender or Houdini, so a dedicated 3D program. So anytime you're doing any tasks, when it involves, say, live footage or 3D, think about what your task is and the workflow that would be easiest and best for you. For example, if we had to track some live footage and put this 3D element into it, to create this in Fusion would take much longer. You can do it, but it'll take a lot more nodes, a lot, just a lot more stuff to create this simple little 3D model than it would in Blender, because this literally took a minute to make. And it's super simple. And the materials are super simple, like really, really simple. You just assign me your materials and boom, there you go, you're done. So it might make more sense to track your footage within Fusion, export it out, bring it into Blender, and do all your 3D building within Blender. Because like I said, in Fusion, making something like this is going to take a lot more nodes and a lot more work to get this look. Because if we look simply at these reflections from this little orange sphere that are happening in here, this takes a lot of work in Fusion to make this happen correctly. Whereas in Blender, it is literally 2 seconds. And something as simple as if we wanted this little sphere here to emit light, all we have to do is make it emit light, and it's emitting light. In Fusion, this takes a lot more work to get it to look correctly. Same with these. If we wanted our little spheres to be like glass looking, we just did it in a few seconds. Whereas in Fusion, doing something like that would take a lot longer and a lot more work when it comes to working with materials. And I know we haven't started working with materials yet, but we will. And you're going to see that it's a lot more work than just simply one little node within Fusion for your shader. So jumping into Fusion. So as I said, we're going to be going over the Alembic Mesh 3D. And what that is it's a node to allow you to import Alembic meshes. So if we wanted to import our Alembic mesh that we created somewhere else, we could hit Shift Space Alembic Mesh 3D. We can add it, and hopefully this doesn't shut my computer down. All right, because it does happen quite a lot. So make sure you save before you're importing any of these 3D type nodes. And I'm just going to double click on our little spinning mesh there, and I'm going to import it into our Merge 3D. And you can see it just popped up there. So let's go ahead and go to our transform. And within this 3D mesh, or this Alembic mesh, you have all your same transforms you do for everything else. So we're going to bring this back in our little 3D world. And let's go to camera, top, and let's bring it back under our light there. And there we go. So you can see it did import the animation. Just mind you, sometimes when you have multiple things that are animated within this node, it's not going to import that animation correctly, or at all sometimes. So if we look at our render view, we've got our little 3D thing we created in Blender, and it's there and animated. But if you notice, there's no materials on it because this does not import materials. On our controls themselves, we have our file name where we imported that. If it has an object name assigned to it within your 3D program, which you really should, this will pop up here. You can change it to a wireframe if you want. And we have all the same visibility, lighting, matte, blend mode, normal, tangents, and objects that we have. But let's go to normals in our tangents and make sure they're there, because again, sometimes this mesh does not import those normals and tangents correctly. And you can see we do have our normals and our tangents showing up. Those are our tangents and those are our normals. Under your material tab, you can change the color of your material. And you have the rest of the specular and transmittance that we have on all of our other 3D nodes with materials. And additionally, we have this material input. This is for inputting through your scene. But we have this green material input, so we could bring in, say, some footage, import it. Now we've got a little material on our spinning object there. Now, while bringing in your Alembic meshes this way is great if it's a super simple mesh and you don't have tons of materials and stuff you got to add to it, or multiple materials that you have to add to it. Or if you just need something as, say, a placeholder when you're doing camera tracks or different stuff like that, that you want to see what's going on, you can bring that in this way. But there's a better way to bring in Alembic meshes without using this node. Because what this node is doing is just bringing in that Alembic mesh as one giant mesh, and it's not broke down in any way. And if you noticed, within Blender, we had our separate sphere, our separate cube, and 3 separate cylinders here. So in order to bring it in that way, let's go ahead and disconnect our Alembic mesh. And a good thing to do is make sure you're not selected on anything, so it doesn't import it in any weird random place. But if we go up to Fusion and hit Import Alembic Scene, and then select our spinning shape, it's going to come up with this little menu system for us to pick what we want to bring in. So if we want our entire hierarchy, everything that we have within our model or our 3D scene, any orphan transforms that are assigned to those shapes, any cameras we have, any inverse transforms we have, any points we may have, the meshes themselves, any UVs we have assigned, and our normals, we can import all those in. Now under our animation, if we need to resample, if we say did our 3D scene at 30 frames per second and we want it to match our scene within Fusion, we can change that here. And under our options, we have remove duplicate keyframes. So if you have multiple keyframes that are on top of each other and they're just duplicates, we can select to remove them. And if you hit OK, it's going to import a whole bunch of nodes. So let's bring these up. And what this just did is it imported all of our shapes with extra transforms on them. A merge node. This is actually a merge, even though it says cube, because this was our primary object that I had with all these parented to it. That's why it's broke down this way. And this is our actual object, and this is a transform on our object because we selected to bring those transforms in. And then, as I said, this is a merge, and then this is our actual Alembic data being brought in. So if we take this and import it into our 3D merge, and let's go to our scene here, And let's bring our shape back. We can simply go to this node right here that says ABC, and we can transform our entire scene or model back. Go to camera view top, and let's put it back under that light. So now if we look at our render view, we've got that same model, but broken down per piece. So within each of these pieces, these are basically our little individual meshes. So we have our cylinder right here with all our controls for visibility. You can see it named our object because we had it named within Blender. We can change our materials for that individual object, and we can transform that individual object if we need to, as well as rotate, change or pivot, and change the scale. And these controls, materials, and transforms are on every single one of these initial nodes. These next nodes are simply transform nodes, and it'll do the same thing as our transform within here than it does right here. So if I transform this, you can see it's doing the exact same thing. But if you look at one difference in here, if we look at our cylinder and look at our scale is just set to 1. And within our transform nodes, our scale is set how we set our scale within Blender. So that's what these transform nodes are doing. And as we transform these, you can see this is rotated. This one's rotated. And I see we need to fix that. Straighten that up. So any transforms that happen within Blender are all right here. And then our merge node, and then we have our pass-through lights if we need to, and our cube, and our final little Alembic node right here. And again, we can take our little media in, we can place it on our sphere, place it on our sphere material. So now we've got that material on our sphere. So that is the Alembic Mesh node and the Fusion importing Alembic scene option. So I will see you in the next node breakdown.